Hi, my name's Mike. I work at the Saskatoon Public Library, and this is a story time for you, adult. Not so much of a story time as a conversation between me and hopefully you. At least I'm going to pretend that you're there and that you're listening and that you're interested in maybe just listening for a while, or maybe even want to participate. The thing that I've got today is a book by Keri Smith called How to Be an Explorer of the World. It's from 2008. There is one copy available at the Palliser Branch Library in Saskatchewan, so if you hop on to saskatoonlibrary.ca, you can request this. We've got our curbside pickup program starting ASAP, so maybe we can deliver it to your house for you while quarantine's still on. Before I get started reading How to Be an Explorer of the World by Keri Smith, I want to acknowledge with gratitude that we are here today reading this book and doing this project and living this life on Treaty 6 territory, which is also the traditional homeland of the Métis. What do I like about this book? Well, let's just start reading it and see what we get into. Zoom in. Hi. How to Be an Explorer of the World, the portable art, scratched out, life museum. It's a bit of a childish presentation to this book that maybe you find off-putting. I think it's kind of exciting. I'm a bit childish myself in the sense that I've stayed curious despite my advanced 48 years of age. And that curiosity, that playfulness often is called childish. I don't know how I feel about that. All right. Contents, a bunch of explorations. Let's find out what this book is about. It says, Ahi Pasiko, which is an invitation to come and see in the ancient Pal language. And then we have a quote from T.S. Eliot from the Four Quartets. We shall not cease from exploration, and at the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. We shall not cease from exploration, and at the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started. Well, I guess we're going to have to come back where we started. And then maybe we'll know it for the first time. How to use this book. 1. Read in any order. Use fieldwork section in the back of the book to record and document findings. Here's the fieldwork section. So it's basically got lots of different graph paper and sections where you can make field notes because, surprise, one of the ways to be an explorer of the world is to behave like a scientist. And the way that I like to approach that is to behave almost like I don't know anything and just to question everything. Okay, 2, all exercises are open to interpretation. That's why I was able to give you my interpretation just now, because the book said I could. There's no right answer. 3, feel free to add, alter, or ignore. Well, we're going to use that for sure. 4, there are no rules, merely suggestions. Okay, no rules. I can go with that. If you're a very ruly kind of person, feel free to take everything I say as if it is an absolute truth and just do what I tell you, if that makes you feel more comfortable. And of course, if you balk at the rules, if you're a hand up person, talk to the hand, then just ignore me and do your own thing. 5, treat everything as an experiment. Well, I covered that one back on number 2. 6, start with whatever makes you feel a twinge of excitement, right? This book, How to Be an Explorer of the World, was a gift from my wife to me a few years back when I was struggling with feeling creative or even happy sometimes. And so starting with makes you feel a twinge of excitement or curiosity. Follow your curiosity, a friend of mine once said. And then there's an author's note on this other page. It says, none of the ideas in this book are new. Many of them have been pilfered, borrowed, altered, and stolen from great thinkers and artists of our time. I have made an attempt to cite all root sources. those that are known to me, of these ideas in the bibliography, as well as adding citations in each section to lead you to further reading on a given subject. A lot of the information in this book was acquired by reading these books, but the real learning of these methods is to be had, in the words of Aeneas Nin, in the midst of living. The real learning is to be had in the midst of living. So if I'm gonna take that for face value, we don't have to explore or do anything right now. What we want is to make exploring and doing part of every day. Let's keep going. I'm excited already. All right, this book started with a list that I wrote one night when I couldn't sleep. These ideas are an accumulation of things that I've learned from various teachers and artists over the years and have become the basis for all my own exploration. They are spewed out all at once. And so here's an image of the list. It's just handwritten, as is this whole book, which is one of the reasons I find it so charming. If you've read any of my blogs, you'll know that I have a thing for handwriting as well. I just find it more pleasant than typing. Slower, but a little more illuminating, perhaps. How to be an explorer of the world. 1, always be looking. 2, consider everything alive and animate. 3, everything is interesting. Look closer. 4, does that mean that I'm interesting? I hope so. Are you interesting? I hope so. 4, alter your course often. 5, observe for long durations and short ones. 6, notice the stories going on around you. Notice patterns. 7, notice patterns, make connections. 8, document your findings, brackets, field notes, in a variety of ways. 9, incorporate indeterminacy. So I guess we're going to use luck and chance in our findings. 10, observe the moment. 11, create a personal dialogue with your environment. Talk to it. 12, trace things back to their origins. 13, use all of the senses in your investigations. All right, well, after reading this list a few times, it occurred to me that artists and scientists analyzing the world around them, and they do it in surprisingly similar ways. And Keri has written down 5 ways. They observe, collect, analyze, compare, notice patterns. All right. When I look closely at the work of all my favorite artists and designers, I notice that they all have one thing in common. They are all collectors. This tendency to collect and document is similar to the work of an ethnographer. Ethnography is a noun, and it means the documentation and analysis of a particular culture through field research. All right. Everything is interesting. Everything has a value, provided it appears at the right place at the right time. It's a matter of recognizing that value, that quality, and then to transform it into something that can be used. If you come across something valuable and tuck it away in your metaphorical suitcase, there's sure to come a moment when you can make use of it. And that's a quote by Jürgen Bay. And of course, the quote has a suitcase in it, so it takes place pasted onto a suitcase here. It's a very bullet journal-y kind of thing to do, even though this isn't a book on bullet journaling. But it's kind of scrap book, scrap pasty. Which brings us to your top secret mission. All right. If found, do not open. Well, raise the stakes a little bit. Makes it seem a bit more interesting. I'm hooked. Proceed with curiosity. All right. You are an explorer. Underlined. Your mission is to document and observe the world around you as if you've never seen it before. Take notes. Collect things you find on your travels. Document your findings. Notice patterns. Copy, trace, focus on one thing at a time. Record what you are drawn to. All right, that's our mission. Do this wherever you are, at any time, at the grocery store, on your way to work, waiting in line at the bank, or even if you are sick in bed. You do not have to travel to faraway places, though you may decide to do this at some point on your adventures. You do not need large amounts of time. You might want to think about this book as your metaphorical suitcase, a place to collect and document your findings. How do you see? It is also a museum, your very own museum, that will contain your unique vision of the world. It will be different from any other museum in the world because you are unique. You can add to it at any time. You can touch all of the things in it. Everything in it is free. Best of all, it is portable, perfect for taking with you on your travels. You can have spontaneous showings wherever you are, sell tickets or not. It changes as your perception of the world changes. You can visit your museum whenever you need ideas or if you want to see what is floating around in your brain. Important. It's bolded. Important, read only if you accept your mission. The following pages include a variety of prompts and assignments that will help you on your travels. There is also a section on tools and techniques that will help you with documentation methods. You may also use the worksheets included or create your own. Remember, all of your most important tools exist in your body. Well, that's good because I'm not going to be writing much on this book today, even though it's my book. I don't want to be taking the time away from talking to you, which is the part that, I'm here to do. So all of your most important tools exist in your body. Use them. Collect as much data as you can. It may come in handy later on. Good luck on your journey. Well, my journey. And hopefully your journey too. You are going to do this, right? All right. So that's page 13 already. We're really rocking along. Where to begin? In which we become comfortable with living the questions. Living the questions. Well, I'm starting to fatigue already. Maybe you want to do some more reading, but I'm ready to dig into one of the missions or projects in this book. So let's just flip through here and find something that looks interesting. All right, anything can be a starting place. Begin where you are. If that's too vague, turn the page. I'm going to turn the page. That was a little vague. All right. Exploration number 1. Seems like a good place to start, even though we could just flip through and pick anything. Exploration number 1. Write where you are sitting. So don't move wherever you are, unless you're moving, in which case don't stop. Write 10 things about where you are sitting right now that you hadn't noticed when you sat down. Use your senses. Do it quickly. Do not censor. Okay, begin. There. Well, so while you're getting your pen and paper, or maybe you have it already because you have a notebook handy at all times, I am going to open up my favorite note-taking app. It's called Notability. And I'm going to write down 10 things about this place where I'm sitting down. And then maybe we'll talk about it and I'll show them to you. Just hang on. Okay. That reminds me of a Shakespeare quote. Just going to look it up here. From Henry IV. Where are you? The conversation between Henry and Falstaff. And Prince Henry wants to figure out how to talk to his father. And Falstaff is going to help him by pretending to be the king. He says, well, Falstaff says, well, you'll be rebuked horribly when you see your father tomorrow. If you love me, practice a response. And Prince Henry says, you pretend to be my father. Ask me about the details of my life. And Falstaff says, really? Excellent. This chair will be my throne, this dagger my scepter, and this cushion will be my crown. So you see why I thought of this, because he's talking about the chair that he's sitting in, and we're doing an activity from this book about where we're sitting right now. That's how my brain works. It's all these loose connections and threads and forgetting things and picking them. Well, I'm reading to you right now. Just a second. Really excellent. This chair will be my throne, this dagger my scepter, and this cushion will be my crown. And Prince Henry says, your throne is a wooden stool, your gold scepter is a dagger of lead, and your precious, expensive crown a lousy, bald head. Falstaff says, if you still have a shred of divine grace in you, you'll be moved by this. Give me some wine to make my eyes bloodshot, so that it looks like I've been crying. I must speak with passion, and I'll do it like King Cambyses. Well, I don't know if that quote does anything for you, if you've ever read Henry IV before. You haven't. Not the best place to start with Shakespeare. I'd go with a Macbeth or even a As You Like It. Yes, they do that one at the Shakespeare in the Saskatchewan quite often, for good reason. It's one of the more entertaining ones. I'll move on to Henry IV a little bit later. What did I not notice when I sat down? That's interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see 13, 14, 15, 16. I can see 16 different flowers from this chair in my beautiful backyard. Well, do you want to see them? Okay. I know that's not how this is supposed to work, but I was told that there are no rules and we can change. So which 16 flowers could I see from my chair? Well, they were out this door. Let's see if I counted right. Okay, we've got one, which is a fuchsia. There's one blossomed right there. I don't know what these little purple ones are. That's 2, 3. All right, let's keep going. What else could I see? From there, I saw these roses, tea roses, 4. I saw the calla lilies, 5. I saw these tulips, that's 6. What else did I see? I saw, oh, out here. I could see these flowers here. 7, 8 for the snapdragons. No, I can't. Okay, 7, 8. I don't know what that one's called. We've got this grape hyacinth is just starting. That's 9. We have another 10, 11, 12. Okay, I couldn't see those little guys. I think I could see this one. And impatience, 13, just getting started. And I think I could see this basket over here with petunia. That's 14, 15, 16. And I think that's how many I claim to see. So let's just stop there. Okay, so that was the 16 flowers that I could see from my seat, and that's only question number 1. You can see how this could take all day. Okay. All right, so that's the first thing. 16 different flowers that we noticed from this chair. Number 2. Okay. 2, what else do I notice here that I didn't notice when I sat down? Well, I can see a hippopotamus butt from here. You don't believe me? Well, all right, here we go. I can see hippopotamus butt. It's right here. It's from my little footstool, whom I've nicknamed Pistachio. I got him as a gift from my adult daughter at Christmas time. Great footstool. Okay, that was 2, hippopotamus butt. I just have to write it down. Give me a second. Hippo bottom. I feel like the little minions. Bottom. All right. Third thing that I can notice from here. I can hear my wife talking downstairs. She's in a conference call right now in our in-home office. And she's got a vent right above her head. And I've got two vents in the floor that probably go right directly at like a chute down to where she is. So I can hear my wife talking. If this was a movie, that would be like a moment where I overheard something dastardly going on, and then I would have to use that information. Maybe I discover that she's a spy and she's been keeping it from me all this time, when I thought she was an educational developer. Really, she worked for the Canadian government, for, you know, the big boys at CSIS. Okay, hearing sounds. Boy, 10 things is hard. What else do I notice that I didn't notice when I sat down? Well, there's a lot of things that you don't notice every time, even though you know they're there. So I guess I can count things that I know about. Like, for instance, does the place where you're sitting have a chin-up bar within arm's reach? But I do have a chin-up bar and fingerboard that I've built. So you can see right here is my chin-up bar. And all these little holes here are for practicing rock climbing. Different kinds of grips to keep my hands strong. That's one of my favorite things. And the favorite thing that my wife always says is from her spot where she likes to sit in the living room when she's watching Netflix or eating supper, she can't see it because it's on the other side of the wall. All right. Uh-oh, I think I lost my pencil. I put it in my pocket. That reminds me of a poem. I'm going to get it for you. Okay, I'm going to read you this poem that I just thought of because I found the Apple Pencil in my pocket, which first and foremost reminds me of Bilbo finding the ring in his pocket and wondering what it was, leading to the whole riddles in the dark escapade. Maybe I'll read you something from The Hobbit later, but for right now I want to read you this poem by E.E. Cummings. It's called Humanity, I Love You. Humanity, I love you, because you would rather black the boots of success than inquire whose soul dangles from his watch chain, which would be embarrassing for both parties. And because you unflinchingly applaud all songs containing the words country, home, and mother when sung at the Old Howard, which I presume is a bar. Humanity, I love you because when you're hard up, you pawn your intelligence to buy a drink. And when your flush pride keeps you from the pawn shop. Not so charitable. And because you are continually committing nuisances, but more especially in your own house. And here's the part that kind of pertains to me and why I remembered it. Humanity, I love you because you are perpetually putting the secret of life in your pants and forgetting it's there and sitting down on it. And because you are forever making poems in the lap of death, humanity. I hate you. Well, except for the part about I hate you, that's pretty much about nails it. I'm always putting things in my pocket and forgetting about them, both literally and metaphorically, right? I remember some great thing. I come up with some piece of wisdom that I learned from hard fought struggle, and then next time there I am. Same thing all over again. Anyway, that's number 4 was chin up bar. Number 5 is I lost my pencil. Just a second, I'm writing it down. Lost pencil. Found! Exclamation mark. All right, so we're halfway down our list. I have to come up with 5 more things. I'm sitting in this chair. One is, I didn't realize it, but I'm starting to make a mess. Here, take a look. Help. I'm going handheld now, and you can see that in my workspace here, I've got How to Be an Explorer of the World. There's my selfie stick on top of it, because I used the selfie stick when I took you guys outside to talk about flowers. I've got a piece of work that a document I was helping my wife on with graphic design. I've got my external keyboard. But why do I need this external keyboard for my MacBook Pro? For my iPad, because I'm looking at my MacBook Pro, and there's the E.E. Cummings. There's the E.E. Cummings poem that we were reading. Okay, you know what? That's 5 things and a divergence to poetry. I think maybe I'm going to read you a little bit more out of the actual book. And then we're going to wrap up, because that kind of took longer than I thought. But it's interesting how just getting my brain into a divergent space and starting to get into that explorer's mindset has pepped me up. I feel quite perky. How to Be an Explorer of the World. Let's see where we left off. and see if we can learn anything. Where to begin in which we become comfortable with living the questions. On my desk, I have a little Japanese bowl filled with sea glass. I can spend hours taking the pieces out and examining them, sorting, arranging, putting them into groups according to size, shape, and color. Holding each one in my hand and feeling the surfaces, examining them for the unique qualities, marks, cracks, histories, holding them up to the light, trying to look through them. This one has a place that fits my thumb perfectly. This one has the slightest tint of robin's egg blue. This one still holds some of the shape of the original bottle it came from. Wait a minute. Robin's egg blue. Do you want to see something? Okay, just a second. Let me put my book down. You're gonna like this. Okay, so robin's egg blue made me think about the fact that after the windstorm that we had last week, my wife and I found a tiny little robin's egg out on the lawn. I'm gonna show it to you. There it is. Isn't it perfect? Anyway, I'm a little sad. I think it blew down from way up in this great fir tree. Otherwise, I was planning to try and put it back in its nest. I just decided to leave it out overnight in case I didn't know if, other robins would come looking for an egg that they dropped. But in any case, it's still there after a few days, so. Okay, so sorry about that divergence again for my little robin's egg project. We were finishing up reading How to Be an Explorer of the World. I swear, we're gonna totally get through this. This one has a place that fits my thumb perfectly. This one has the slightest tint of robin's egg blue. This one still holds some of the shape of the original bottle it came from. I ponder how all these pieces ended up in the ocean. We're talking about sea glass, remember? How many hands touched them before mine? What different kinds of sounds can I make with them? Do they have a taste? Don't get your kids to put sea glass in their mouths, I'm guessing. Do they have a taste? There are things I will never know about them, but there are also things that I can uncover. I develop my own expertise as I go and understand it is based on my personal observations. There is no correct way of understanding anything, even though the world wants us to believe this. It is not true. The Indo-European root of the word art is to arrange or fit together, join. In this light, art can be pared down to its most simplistic form. We begin by collecting, then playing with the materials or objects, organizing them in a variety of ways, making new combinations, trying things, then observing the arrangement we have made. I like that. To make art, we begin by collecting. Whether we're collecting, colors for painting, or pencils for drawing, different papers for their textural qualities, collecting notes or instruments or different sounds that we can combine together. Yeah, I'm liking that. Collect items you fancy and that for different reasons attract your attention. Remember also to collect and study things that seem for the moment to be meaningless or irrelevant. The twists and turns of the creative process lead you back to an important encounter that at first seemed quite neutral, or even something that made you feel repelled or exasperated. That's a quote by Maja Ratke. I don't know how you pronounce that. There's the name there. Maybe you have a better idea than I do. Collecting things. All right. Documenting and collecting methods and tools. So we have a graphic here, which is a whole bunch of different tools, probably things that you have in your kitchen or in your cold storage rooms, in your basements, in a nightside drawer. To be an explorer, you do not need any fancy materials. All of the exercises in this book can be done using whatever you have. Just a pencil and this book. Or an iPad or a camera, as the case may be. As you go along, you may wish to explore more detailed methods depending on what you have at your disposal. Oh, good. I thought I was breaking the rules there, but as it turns out, Keri had my back again. You can add to this list as you discover new methods. All right, simple methods: writing, sketching, collecting objects, pencil rubbings, pressings, flat objects, tracing, clay relief, like plasticine, transcribing conversations, printmaking, using objects. Yeah, I would definitely add a camera to mine. I'm an amateur photographer and I love taking pictures. So as this video goes along, I may have shown you a whole bunch of pictures that I took recently when I was out exploring the riverbank yesterday. So thanks for hanging out and reading How to Be an Explorer of the World with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you're even inspired to go out and do something crazy. Start a collection, because as we know, that's the basis not only for art, but also for a large part of the scientific method. And if we want to stay curious in our world, I think we should go out and start collecting ideas, things, experiences. Anyway, it's one thing that we can still do while being socially isolated and not being able to go anywhere is maybe look a little more closely at our backyards or at our floor or at that wall where the paint is peeling in the other room. Thanks for spending some time with me. See you around.